all you mamby-pambies and go-to-hell Howards. This is Once More with Feelings. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Beth.
And this week, we are doing a classic. More emotional than I realized, but Drop Dead Fred, 1991. Directed by, I'm going to try this, At de Jong. It's a Dutch name.
Okay.
It is not how it's spelled, because I would say 8 de Jong, but I had to look it up. So, yeah.
The IMBD states, a young woman who is attempting to find her place in the world battles with her controlling mother and a womanizing husband and finds comfort in confusion with the appearance of her childhood imaginary friend. It is a zappy movie that emphasizes self-actualization.
So, to switch it up a little bit, I'm going to throw this at you. How did you feel about this movie? Because I know this is your first time seeing it. That you said you remember, because you couldn't remember seeing it before.
I have a lot of confusion about this movie and about what it's trying to say. It seems like there's a lot of messages it's trying to get across, and I understand that it's trying to say something, but I feel like it's doing ASL and I never learned ASL. Mm-hmm. Or it's just saying a bunch of bullshit and I'm trying to rationalize the bullshit as a logical aspect. I can't say it's a bad movie. It has good bones.
It has cringy moments.
It has good bones to the movie. It has a good foundation.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly think it's like Monkey Bone, but without the learning aspect, the learning curve. There doesn't seem to... I don't want to critique this movie.
No, and it's okay if you do. Again, this movie was not well received.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
I thought it was a very popular movie.
Cult classic.
Oh, so...
It's got a huge following after the fact. But I can explain my theories
I don't want to sound uncool, though.
Oh, no.
So to be cool, I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, Drop Dead Fred is totally a radical. He's a cool dude. Everybody loves him.
So... Keep in mind, okay, so when I saw this movie, I was still in high school.
Okay.
It came out in 91. I graduated in 92. So I was still in high school.
I was in a desert.
You were. And I was probably baking you cookies because that's what we did when I was in high school. We baked cookies.
I never saw one cookie. Never one.
And because you guys were in Saudi Arabia and we were not in like in Afghanistan and everything, we were told that you have to wear certain things. So we would go to the mall and get our pictures taken with Santa Claus in our coats and everything so that we didn't offend anybody. And those pictures were put in the cookie boxes.
It's kind of funny, yeah.
Yeah, and they were put in the cookie boxes because we had a tree in that had yellow balls on it, and we would take a soldier's name and we'd write a letter to the soldier and send him cookies. So, yes, that's what I did during 1991. And, yeah. So, 1991, when I first saw this movie, I didn't really know what I was getting into. The trailers were funny. And it basically, a girl has imaginary friend and the shit that the hijinks ensue. And I, even then seeing it came out right around the time of the Angelica Houston movie, The Witches,
right.
Doll.
Yeah.
Now that's a movie for kids.
That's a good movie.
Fantastic movie for kids. Horrifying.
It is, but a good movie. We should do that one later on.
I love Angelica Houston. Honestly, she is my favorite Morticia Addams.
Just
favorite.
She's got so much presence.
Oh, I love her so much.
When she emotes, you feel like a mountain cracks. You feel like tectonic plates move.
I forget who her mother is.
I would be afraid to get into a fight with her because I don't want earthquakes to happen.
Well, she is Hollywood royalty. Well, yeah. She comes from, I can't think of her mother's name, but her mother's an actress. And
but she carries on the legacy with this. I mean,
fucking love her.
Just her presence alone covers a lot of ground.
But think about how horrifying that movie is. But it was a kid's movie because, again, Roald Dahl, and that was just,
Yeah, but I didn't see it as a kid's movie. When I saw it, I was like, this is horrifying.
Yeah, no, it's
Why
a
are kids
movie.
in this?
So, so I think when Drop Dead Fred came out, I think parents thought it was going to be a kids movie along the lines of Witches, because like I said, that came out in 90, and then Drop Dead Fred came out in 91. But Drop Dead Fred is PG-13. It is not a kids movie. It was never meant to be a kids movie. It is a movie about mental health. And I know that seems like I'm stretching, but there is a lot of... I didn't see it because, again, I didn't know then. I was 17. I didn't know that I would go and study psychology later in life. So I had no idea about schizophrenia. I had no idea about how childhood traumas inform who you become and the adults that you your adult decisions, and I had no idea. And so at the time, I remember just watching this movie and thinking, oh my God, this is just a funny, stupid movie. And I had I think I had a weird crush on guys with funky hair, because I dated a guy who looked like the lead singer from The Cure for like a minute. I loved Rick Mayall in this movie because I thought he was the cutest thing in the world. And I had a kind of a crush on Yahoo Serious. And I know we have an issue with Yahoo Serious because he grew up to be a complete asshole. But Young Einstein... freaking right there.
Oh, yeah.
I had a crush on these stupid wild-haired crazies. So, that got my attention. And of course, Princess Leia is in this fucking movie, and that got my attention. And Phoebe Cates, she had done a movie, I think it was before this, called Date with an Angel. Basically, she's with this guy, and an angel falls out of heaven. And he rescues the angel, and he's trying to take care of the angel, but she thinks he's dating the angel, but really he's just trying to help the angel get back home.
Right.
And it's her temper tantrums in that movie are just like priceless. And I know everybody says they think of, what's the one?
Michael?
Ridgemont High.
Oh, yeah.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, Fast Times.
That's what they usually think, oh, that's my Phoebe Cates movie. No. It's A Date with an Angel and, The Shag with her.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine's Gremlins. I just go to Gremlins every single time.
But I think of The Shag because when she did The Shag with Bridget Fonda, which is why Bridget Fonda had the little cameo in. She's uncredited. She so that was Bridget Fonda. It was Annabeth Gish,
right?
Lillian Gish's granddaughter.
Yeah.
And who else was in that movie? There's another person. I can't think of who it was. Fucking amazing movie too. So, I mean, an underrated movie about a bunch of girls going to, I think, Myrtle Beach right after high school, just celebrating their summer before they go off to college.
Right.
Or one of them's getting married, I think. So that was my, so Phoebe Cates is in this movie, and now I want to see this movie because it's Phoebe Cates' movie. And then I fell in love with Rick Mayall because I really didn't know much about Rick Mayall. And he's silly, and he's dorky, and he's got that weird little eye that I only just noticed today. And I watched this movie many times because it would come on cable, and I would watch it every time it was on. I would stop what I was doing if that movie was on because I loved this movie. And then I didn't see it for years, but it always kept in the back of my head this nostalgic memory. I am so glad I could actually cry that this is not Short Circuit. I am not disappointed. Yes. The special effects are hokey. Yes, it's offensive at times and misogynistic at other times. But I'm looking at it through a different lens, through different eyes, through decades that have gone past since I've seen this movie. And I understand mental health better and in a different way. And Phoebe Cates' character, Lizzie, she has problems. And they are all basically coming down from her mother. She has childhood traumas that have informed her, and her way of being, her behaviors. And it comes from both mom and dad, and then later on, husband. And I will go into depth in a few minutes. But I really did enjoy. I did enjoy the movie. I wasn't mad about it. I got sad only because I was thinking about the loss of Rick Mayall of a heart attack and Carrie Fisher from sudden cardiac arrest. And which sounds like it should be the same thing, but they are slightly different. And so I was a little sad about that because I forgot how young Carrie Fisher was in this movie. I honestly forgot she was even in it. She had actually auditioned to play Lizzie, but they told her she was too old.
Right.
So she didn't get to play Lizzie.
So I find this movie frustrating because I want to like it in a way. Mm-hmm. But it seems like it does the things that it does for the sake of doing the things that it does, rather than the purpose being to move something forward. So, Drop Dead Fred, an imaginary friend. Mm-hmm. Everything he does is antagonistic, including with the person that's supposedly his friend.
Yes.
I don't see...
So, if he is a manifestation of her psyche. Now, granted, yes, at the end that kind of gets thrown out the window when the boyfriend, I guess, with Mickey's daughter.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, so maybe he is an entity. Let's just assume he actually is an entity. And you can only see him if you need him. And when she needed him, he kind of reflects the inner, because they go into her mind at one point. So he reflects her inner thoughts, her inner...
No, he just reflects her inner need to destroy things. He's not reflecting anything productive at all. It is all destructive.
Yeah, but think about the life that... So her mom, when we meet her in the very, very beginning, we meet Lizzie, and her mom is reading her a story. And it's a fairy tale. And she's like, did they live happily ever after? And her mom's like, yes, of course, they must have, da-da-da-da-da. And she goes, that's bullshit. And there's this little girl saying, that's bullshit. I was getting some Charlie Cale moments from Poker Face, bullshit.
Right.
And then we see her, and she's an adult, and she's chasing after her husband, who is having an affair, and she's begging for him to come back because apparently they had a fight the night before, and she told him to get out. And she's mousy, and she's withdrawn, and she is complacent. And then she goes and cries to her friend, and then her mother convinces her to come back to the house with her, and she's like, I don't want to go. Mother, I'm staying in my apartment. And the next thing you know, she's at her mother's house. This isn't the same little girl who said bullshit to her mother at bedtime.
No, it's the little girl after Drop Dead Fred started being destructive, and then her mother laid down the law for her and put Fred in a box.
That's traumatic.
Sure it is, but she was being physically destructive.
There are other ways to deal with it.
Sure there are. But she did not hurt her.
No, she was not physically abusive.
Right.
But mental and emotional abuse.
I think putting someone's imaginary friend in a box probably isn't the most abusive thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just jaded about that.
Well, no. Okay, so we both have a background in abuse. Yours was physical. I cannot even attest to what that must have been like. Because that would have broken me 30,000 ways. My abuse is neglect, emotional abuse. And I guess because I see the way her mother is with her, that's the shit that that was my abuse. It wasn't physical. It was that. It was, you're not good enough. This is why shit happens. This is all your fault. That wears at you.
But it seemed like her mother only did that in response to the outrageous acts that the child was doing.
Keep in mind, we're coming into the end of that part. We don't know what she had, because she says to her, I don't think I love you anymore. Or I don't love you. Sometimes I think I don't love you anymore.
I'm talking about the flashback to when she was a child.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, is when she says it to her.
Right.
So, I mean, we're coming into the end of that. We're at the end of the relationship with mom and dad. We're coming into the end of right before Fred gets locked away. So we don't know what she was like before.
That's kind of the problem. We don't know what was happening. All we see is her being ultra destructive,
and we
physically destructive, And them trying to deal with it, even if they deal badly with it, they're just trying to stop their child from destroying everything.
Well, and then, but when she comes back to the mom's house and mom is like, was telling her that she needs to fix her marriage. Because, you know, when her and her father, you know, when they fought. So you don't know how long have they been fighting? How aware? So there have been cases,
I'm not trying to diminish the abuse. What I'm saying is their responses are very complacent to physical acts. Like the child is literally destroying things. They're still acting very controlled and complacent about it. Putting the imaginary friend in a box seems like the least of the issues.
It should have been if to do that with a child, it should be
perhaps I'm weighing it against the fact that if I did any of that,
you would have been beaten
I would have been beaten to death.
Yes. So, honey, I probably would have been too. Okay, working with the students that I work with, and sometimes I have behavioral issues, and every behavior, there's a function. So we can look at what is Lizzie's function in her behavior. What is she trying to do? She's not just trying to destroy everything. She's trying to get the reaction. So when children behave like that, they're trying to get reactions, good or bad. They just want the attention. Dad walked out of the room after mom was bitching, and then mom leaves her in the room by herself to clean up the cornflakes that dad spilled. And she's already pissed about the haircut because her hair being chopped off. And she's making a big stink about it. And she tells her, you know, that this is your fault. And so they both leave her alone, this 5-year-old little girl in a room by herself. She's going to fuck shit up because that's the function of the behavior. She wants them to pay attention to her. Whether she's conscious of it or not, it's still the function of the behavior.
And that would be perfectly fine. All of this would be more understandable if it wasn't for the ending.
Well, I'll get to my theories on that. Well, I'll get
the ending kind of destroys all of that.
Yes and no. So again, if you go by, this is a fantasy world and that Fred is an entity. So, okay, when my thoughts, there's so many. When Lizzie was a little girl, those other little kids in the waiting room at the doctor's office would not have been born. How did Fred know the other imaginary friends? So I think that they move from child to child as the child needs them.
Sure.
Okay. We don't know the little girl, Mickey's daughter's relationship with her mother. Why does he have custody? He fought for custody. We don't talk about that relationship. They don't go into that other than they got divorced and he got custody. Dads don't always get custody unless some shit's gone down sideways. There's also the nanny who is very aggressive towards her. It's chocolate. She didn't blow up the kitchen. It's fucking chocolate that she got on you. And now I'm leaving. Da, 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 da. So we don't know what trauma she has dealt with in her own way. And then Fred found a way to help because he was assigned to her or whatever, however this works. I don't know. They don't go into that either. He knew things. He knew that it was his time to stay. He knew that the reason why he was there was to help her. But he doesn't explain how he knows these things. So obviously there's this whole network of invisible friends.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the disjointed parts of the movie.
Oh God, yes.
They detract from any message they're trying to say by just utter destruction of things. It isn't the playfulness that you expect.
No.
It is sheer destructiveness for the sake of destruction.
Well, I think that's part of why this movie didn't do so good. Because again, you're thinking that it's going to be this playful little romp with imaginary friends that...
It would be fine if it had the destruction, but Drop Dead Fred at no point is a sympathetic ear.
No.
He is an antagonistic to his own people.
Well, that's their relationship with each other. Because you've seen, they were all like that. They were all antagonistic with each other.
Right. That is like... think of what a child would feel if even their friend is treating them like crap. It just seems like, oh my God, you don't get a break. Even in your own imagination, you're getting beat the fuck up.
So then that therein, so you have the childhood trauma coming from the neglect and the verbal abuse, The narcissism from mom, which is just, to be raised by a narcissist is not a fun romp by itself. And then she grows up. They put Fred in a box. They lock him away. Dad's pissed. He's like, this is ridiculous. This is wrong. This is fucked up. He saw that this was fucked up. If you wanted to do that, she should have had it be Lizzie's idea. Be a part of it. You're a big girl now, and we need to make Fred go away. So, you need to put him in this box. We're going to make sure he's comfortable, whatever. No, she aggressively took the box, taped it up, and said, don't you ever touch this because I will run Fred over. I will cut off his head. That's fucked up shit right there. And the dad leaves. Now, Dad, you're an asshole because you just fucking left and you never came back. You had that little girl in your arms and you were hugging her and you were trying to console her for what the mom was doing, and you didn't care enough to fight for that child. When another adult doesn't fight for you, you know it. You feel it immediately. Daddy issues, right front and center. So that, and then
that part of the movie I understood, where she has the daddy issues, so she transfers it to her husband.
Yes, who's actually like her mother.
Who she keeps forgiving for everything, for every transgression.
Yes.
And still fighting for him because she doesn't want him to leave like her father left.
I mean, she says
that
it to,
I get.
And at the end, she says it to Fred, I'm scared of being alone.
Right.
But, so what can happen to an adult, and this is why they don't diagnose schizophrenia in children, is because sometimes it's impossible because of all the comorbidities with other things, but childhood traumas can cause adult schizophrenia. So they've seen cases of schizophrenic adults that have had huge amounts of childhood trauma, and that is what has... Because when she took the pills, he started to die. When she went to that doctor with her mother, after beating up on a violinist...
The giant green pills.
The giant, massive green pills.
That are a choking hazard.
Yes, and by any universe. And as she's taking them, they're hurting Fred. And you can see that as the schizophrenic, schizophrenics, when they're on their medication, the hallucinations and the voices, they dull down a bit. So that's a total possibility that she is suffering from schizophrenia, and Fred is definitely a manifestation of her trauma at the moment. So like for a hot minute, she was doing good. She had it in her head. She couldn't even acknowledge Fred. Mom was going to lose her shit. She kind of forgot about that life. When she saw Mickey in the courtroom after she loses her job, which I don't know, that judge is a dick. I mean, she literally she had a shitty...
I don't know any judges that hire stenographers, so I don't know how you fired one.
Yeah,
so.
and because her car was stolen, that's on her because she was late because her car was stolen. Fuck you, man. Dude, shit happens.
She didn't seem to be hurting for money.
No, she really didn't. But she bumps into Mickey in the quite literal sense, and then it takes her a minute to remember him, and then she's got, he starts bringing back the memories. He's like, oh yeah, remember when you did the thing with my grandmother? The grandmother, Grandma Bunce, was actually the director's mom. Or grandmother, sorry. It was the director's grandmother.
And they threw paint on her.
Yogurt. But apparently she found yogurt in her ears and stuff But they did. It was colored yogurt.
Yeah.
But that was, his grandmother. She starts to remember Fred. And I think that's when the doors start to open again. And then the trauma of dealing with Charles, and dealing with living back home with her mother, and then seeing the Jack in the Box with the tape on it, I think it just opened up that door again in her mind. And then the shit started happening. Now, in my opinion, she's doing these things. That these things are actually happening. Like, I don't believe that Fred even actually exists. I think that all the times where we see her arguing with him, she is by herself. There is no other entity there.
What that suggests is that she's also self-harming. Because she hits herself. She throws herself. There's a lot of instances where she's physically damaged.
All that destruction. So think about it now. I'm gonna destroy things. I'm gonna go break a window. I'm gonna pretend that I'm robbing the house. I am gonna make giant mud pies in my dining room and destroy the stuff in my mom's dining room, her beautiful, pristine dining room. I'm gonna bring dog shit into the house and smear it on her just freshly shampooed carpeting. But I'm gonna blame it on Fred because in my mind, I didn't do this. I'm a good girl. I'm the good girl my mom wanted me to be. Oh yeah, I might go along with Fred sometimes because, I'm a little kid and it's fun, but now I'm an adult and this is horrifying. And I didn't do this because that's the dissociative removal. Now, there are theories that she doesn't have schizophrenia, that she has a dissociative identity disorder. I don't know if I feel
that she actually believes she's Fred in those instances.
Because when you have DID, I don't know if they believe. Oh yeah, I guess they believe. I don't know enough about DID, so I don't know if it's a belief. If it's
it just
brain
seems because
chemistry.
How do they exist at the same time? They'd have to switch from one to the other. Again,
it's a sideways squinting perspective. But I've always thought that the trauma. Informed childhood, behaviors and the schizophrenia, definitely.
I get what they're going for. I get they're going for childhood traumas. Mm-hmm. I understand that. I just think that the movie, what the movie is trying to say is being filtered through a whole lot of stuff that doesn't seem to translate.
Yeah.
It's like they wrote it and they went, this sounds good. Mm-hmm. But I don't have to think too deeply about it because I just want a lot of mayhem.
Well, yeah, that's it. And I think they just tried to squeeze a lot into a little bit of time. So you lose, it's, plot. There's big plot points that are kind of drifted off. And as with any movie that ends up with a cult following, we kind of connect the dots that don't connect,
She sings her friend's houseboat, Carrie Fisher's houseboat, mm-hmm. which was a paddle boat, which is just crazy to me.
Cool looking though.
You said it exists in real life. Yeah,
it's actually a real house, yeah.
But they sank it, or she sank it, as per Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah.
And Carrie Fisher's initially upset, but isn't upset at Phoebe Cates or at Elizabeth. Because she got money for it. But that's your home. Yeah. It just seems... They really truncated a lot of other people mm-hmm. in the movie for the benefit of Elizabeth's one character that jumps about and kind of bounces every once in a while like Jim Carrey. Our dog just came walking in.
Because we forgot to put her
We didn't put her up, and she's very excited, but she's very tippy too. She's got her toes tipping on everything.
Yeah, we'll have to pause and...
I know.
Put her away.
She's too excited. Hold on.
She is.
Time out. And we are back. The dog is put away. Mm-hmm.
So, I know in some circles that I was reading, it says that Fred is Lizzie's coping mechanism for her missing emotional support and trauma, and he is her suppressed side. Now, I can see that. But also, I see what you're saying, though, that it is...
Suppressed side would include all the other emotions that she suppresses, but this is just the destructive part. It's only the destructive. He offers no other emotions other than... I don't even think it's an emotion. He just offers a physical outlet, and that's it.
I'm not gonna lie. When he realizes that she's an adult, and then she goes, "Does that mean?" He goes, "You do it like the pigeons," and then he goes outside and starts yelling at the pigeons. Who showed her how to do it? That was funny.
There are small moments in the movie, and I'm not saying it's not a great movie.
No, it's not a great movie.
I didn't enjoy it necessarily. Mm-hmm. I didn't hate it. I just felt confused by what it was actually trying to say. I know what it wanted to say, but what was it actually trying to say? Mm-hmm. I don't think it accomplished what it wanted to. I think that Phoebe Cates, unfortunately, was being cast to type.
Yes.
Because, let's face it, she was a traumatized teenager in Gremlins as well.
Yeah.
And I think that you can just find, was it Charles, Tim Matheson?
Yeah.
pretty face and he cheats on his wife. That's so...
It's basically a Tim Matheson
It is a very formulaic kind of situation.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we don't know... Her father wasn't necessarily cheating on her mother.
No.
So this is a kind of a false thing. And what was he doing? What was the father doing that was traumatizing? I mean, he was supportive.
But he was also...
But her mother drove him away, right?
The mother drove him away, but also he was just... It's just this absentness. So, it seemed like he was always gone anyway.
Okay.
So I think that, and it's that absent and abandonment issues. And then just the neglect because, be a part of it. If she's doing something wrong, it was like, okay, with children, there's balance. And you had this parent who was very authoritarian. And then you had the one that was extremely submissive. He was like, she's a kid. Let her be a kid. Well, why do you think she's acting out now? She's not only just acting out because it pisses off mom. She's acting out because maybe it'll get your attention.
Right.
Being good and sweet hasn't gotten your attention. So now I'm going to be a little shithead. And maybe that'll get your attention. Well, that's not even getting his attention either. Because he's like, she's just a kid. Pat her on the head. Knocks over a box of, he knocks over cereal by accident. And then it's just like, oh, oops. And did you see her? She's like, oh, and like she reacted to the cereal falling. Like she should be the one to clean it up and react to it. He didn't make a move to it. And only thing her mom says is you don't eat cereal off the floor like an animal.
Right.
So there's a lot of just this little baby who's just not understanding the dynamics of adults to begin with.
And that's how I feel the writer was.
Mm-hmm, probably.
Like a child that didn't understand the adult as, what they were getting at.
One of the writers, their mother, that happened to her with the toy, getting the imaginary friend taken away by putting it and trapping it. And I think the mom actually buried it or some shit like that. And she did have trauma for years because of it. It was horrifying. It's why children don't like to poop in the potty because it's this removal of something that they see as a part of them. It's why the best way to deal with pacifiers when they've gotten so attached to them is to make an ordeal at it. And I know people are like, oh, that's the touchy-feely parenting. Sometimes touchy-feely parenting helps you create an individual who will later on in life feel secure in themselves and not have the mental health issues that other people have. Some kids you can say, don't do that anymore. We're not doing that. And you can be strict and you can be authoritarian because their brains can comprehend that you don't dislike them. You just want to show them the right and the wrong way. And then there's kids that don't deal with that. I did not deal with that because my brain was like, well, then I'm doing it wrong. I am a horrible person. Immediately, my brain went to that level because of my introverted, shy, whatever the fuck I've got going in my head. I'm better now. Relatively speaking. But when I was little, if you told me not to do something, I didn't even ask why. I just said, okay. And then I was like, I would ponder it in my head. Well, if I hadn't done it, then they wouldn't gotten yelled at. And I got yelled at, even if they didn't even yell at me. They just said, no, don't do that. My head went, they were yelling at me and I shouldn't have done it. And now I'm in trouble. And now I'm a horrible person. And those are the freaking cogs that were building in my head. So that I ended up growing up to be a complete and utter neurotic adult who thinks that everything I do is wrong and has horrifying imposter syndrome. I have a fucking master's degree and I don't think I deserve it. Yes, I'm sitting here talking about psychology and that's only because I reviewed. But in my head, I'm like, oh, well, you really didn't know any of this stuff. But I did know this stuff. Like, I haven't really even looked at my notes other than to read a sentence I wrote because I wanted to get it right. So I know I'm not stupid. But in my head, I am an idiot because it's been ingrained in me. So yes, childhood traumas. So back to the pacifiers thing. My personal opinion is if you have a child who is addicted to their pacifier, I have seen it done in different ways, but you can go and you can donate your binkies, or you can have a party where you bury them and then they grow something like a lollipop or something like that. Or because now you're a big kid now, so you don't need a binky, now you got a lollipop. Or there's just so many different ways you can do it and get the baby involved and the child involved, and they understand that they are not losing a part of themselves, that they are evolving into another phase of their life. And some kids need that gentle push. God, I wish I knew then what I know now. I would have raised my children differently. But that, just pushing him in a box and taping that box up and threatening her, saying, I will kill him if you even think about him and say his name out loud again. She's 5. That's trauma.
And I get that. But again, everything that she does with Fred is destructive. Mm-hmm. Every single thing. If he was bringing anything else other than just pure destruction, mm-hmm. then I could say, oh, this is a way of dealing with things. But it's not a way of doing it. It's kind of like an addiction.
Well, she doesn't know any better.
Sure, but addicts don't know any better either. They mm-hmm. don't know. They can't process the fact that this is killing them.
No, I mean, and I'm not, I totally get that, yeah.
Yeah, so she's, doing the same thing and passing it down to another generation.
Well, she's not.
No, she's not. I'm saying it's being passed down. The mm-hmm. drop dead goes to another person.
Yeah.
Another child.
He helps her. So he said, I'm with you until until you don't need me.
But does she need destruction, or does she just need someone to listen to her?
I think she needed to bring what she considered her happy memories probably revolved around Fred as a child. Yes, destructive. Yes, ridiculous. But those were her happy memories. And I think when she had that taken from her, and then her relationship with Charles, and then the door opening up and him coming back, that proverbial door, and him coming back, she needed him again to heal. So he was there to protect her, I think, in a way. Yes, he caused the problem. But I think it's her mind's, and it is why DID exists in a lot of cases. It's the brain's way to protect itself. I can't acknowledge what happened to me, so somebody else is going to come out and be my protector. Sure. Now, granted, yes, we know that they both can't exist at the same time, and that doesn't, work that way with the imaginary friend. But maybe that's the same type of situation where the brain fractured, and through all of that existence after Fred, between Fred's time with her, that part of, it's the wall that she built, the door that she shut, whatever she has going on in her mind to seal him away, but it also sealed a part of her away, the part of her that was a strong individual, because that was beaten out of her immediately. Because she became very compliant to her mother. She went into the dining room and started cleaning,
right,
as soon as Mom threatened him. So and then again, she's with Charles, who takes from her. He's an emotional sponge as well. He's taking, she thinks he loves her, but then he's turning around and he's with Annabelle. And there's just, I don't know. Again, I totally understand what you're saying. It's disjointed, and we are totally connecting lines that are parallel. But
yeah, and in the end too, and I want to. There's this ableism part of it mm-hmm. at the end where she just miraculously gets better.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, really? Because there's nothing profound that you're going to come to internally that makes you not have psychological issues about your past.
Oh, yeah. She released the little girl, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the best part of the movie is the little girl.
Oh, God, she's
adorable. What's her name? Ashley Peldon? Peldon?
Yes.
She is adorable.
I know.
She's probably in her 40s now.
Yeah.
Well, 30s.
Yeah.
Maybe 20s.
No.
30s. 40s?
20s?
80s?
91. 91. I was 17.
She's older now.
Yes.
Quite a bit older.
Quite a bit older.
She's probably got a family of her own. She is adorable in this.
She is adorable.
Even the first line where she's like, that's bullshit.
Yes.
Was adorable. So she is the best part of this movie, to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. She's always been that little
facial expression. Oh, it's just... How could you ever be mad at her?
Oh, my God. How could you say, I don't think I love you anymore? Like, that's my baby. Dear Lord, I look at pictures of my kids when they're that little, and I want to cry all the time. I'm like, my baby. You know?
There's also the thing with Mikey, or Mickey.
Mickey, yeah. He's
so ready to jump into the crazy. And you don't get the film doesn't give you that preface of how Mickey is with her.
No.
So it just kind of throws it in and says, you're infatuated with her. No reason.
Yeah.
You just are.
Yeah. I mean, he makes a comment about, how she was always the fun person and he missed having that fun in his life. So we just did my best friend's wedding. And I'm going to do a small comparison. I feel like Mickey put her on a pedestal and had compared, he left because his family moved away. And, he said, he goes, I'm never going to see my friend Lizzie again. And, have fun with her again. And that was what he remembered. He had this memory of a child that he had fun with and that, he was enamored by because she was such a free spirit. Because little kids don't understand that those behaviors are bad behaviors.
Right.
In the sense of, I'm seeing another kid act like a complete little shit. That's funny. I'm not getting in trouble, but she is a cut up. And so he's probably, he probably has that in his head that he's built up over the years. And now he sees her as an adult and she's being weird.
Right.
And so he's going, same old Lizzie, same old cut up, because that's, this person that he has built in his head that he has now become infatuated with. Yeah, I'm not saying that's healthy in any way, any universe. I'm just saying that's what I'm thinking with him.
It's another part of the movie that I noticed. It just seems...
I wish we could get more back.
It's so manufactured. Mm-hmm. It's so thrust into it without a thought of how it fits.
Oh, definitely.
And it's like, well, she needs to be paired up with someone, so we'll bring him in because he loves her.
Yeah,
but
no.
Is it love or is it just like he remembers that girl? But they don't even preface that.
Yeah.
So a lot of this film for me is just like it was probably a good movie until someone dropped it on the ground and shattered it. And you got all these little pieces of a good movie.
Oh no, definitely.
That could be a good movie. And like Drop Dead Fred's attitude is not.
So I think a lot of that is also Rick Mayall. I love Rick. I've always, oh my God, I love Rick Mayall. Oh shit, who did
Maybe you just love Ricks.
I do love Ricks. No, I don't really. There's a few in my life.
Springfield?
No.
No?
Nah, I never was a Rick Springfield fan, and he kind of creeped me out on Supernatural. So no, my first introduction to him was not, what is it, The Young Ones? I think is what he was on.
Sure.
Yeah, I forget what he was on, but he had like the spikes in his head and everything. That was like, I think, one of his first shows. I remember him from Blackadder. And I think he was like, what was it, like Strongheart or some shit like that. But he was a real arrogant prick. And then like reading stuff about Rick Mayall, about the things he said, they wanted to dub his voice in America to a transatlantic voice because they were afraid that his accent would be illegible to Americans. And he's like, I am Rick, 12-inch girth Mayall or something along those lines. Basically, don't fuck with me, and I'm going to say what I want to say. And if you wanted a transatlantic accent, you should have dug up Cary Grant, is what he said. But there's an arrogance, and you can see it in the character. Definitely, probably a person I would never have gotten along with in real life, but I love the characters he's played, and again, mostly from Blackadder. I think that's just the characters he plays. So he was originally supposed to be in Harry Potter. In the very first Harry Potter movie, Chris Columbus, he was going to play Peeves. And from what the legend is, and it kind of kills me because nobody knows. I mean, there's people who say they know, but nobody really knows. Supposedly, he did film scenes, and that they were hilarious, and that people, the crew and cast and everybody were just cutting up. They were just thinking that this is the greatest thing ever, and then they cut everything just for time constraints and or plot point. Cut all of his scenes, and then that film doesn't exist. So there's no like deleted scenes of him or anything like that, which I think is suspicious. But I just remember I had not seen the movie yet, but I had read the first book, but the movie was already out. And I'm thinking, the cast and everything. I'm like, oh my God, if they have Peeves, I wanted it to be Rick Mayall. I had no idea that was even going to be a thing. I didn't really know that he was supposed to be in the movie for many, many years as a character, and then found out that Rick Mayall was supposed to play the part. And I was like, holy shit. I used to play online RPGs, and we had Peeves, and I used to use a picture of Drop Dead Fred for Peeves. And the shit that we used to get into trouble with that character. But the thing about Rick Mayall, I think that with his arrogance, I think it kind of comes through, and a lot of the behaviors and a lot of the stuff, he had a lot of influence on his character and the way he behaved and the things that they did in the movie. So I think that is a huge factor on why there's so much destruction and stupidity that doesn't really go with the flow of healing somebody and helping somebody and being there to be their protector. There's a lot that he could have done differently.
I can't just say him though, because if you see the group, Velcro Head, you got Go to Hell Herman.
Oh, I thought it was Howard. Sorry.
If you look at all of these characters that are the imaginary friends, they are written and acted much like they're the antagonist to the children, but the children are somehow enthralled with them only because it's written that way. No child would enjoy that because they're treating them worse than their parents treated them.
Again, it's like the abuse victim who only knows abuse, so they end up with somebody who abuses them.
Right. I'm saying this is a bad thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it just seems to me like your imaginary friend should probably, if it's going to have a good effect on you, like, at the end, magically cure you of your trauma, should probably have some endearing factors. I didn't see anything endearing to make me want to go back to that imaginary friend. Maybe it's nostalgia, because the nostalgia is the killer of free will, okay? Nostalgia will kill your will to do something different. Nostalgia will draw you back in, okay? And it can be good. Nostalgia can be a good thing, but it can also be very bad because you misremember things or you misalign things with what actually happened. Because our brains are still developing as children, stuff like that. And if you're operating purely on nostalgia, you'll go back over and over again to the same thing, thinking it's going to make you feel like it did back then, but back then you didn't feel great.
Exactly.
So you keep going back to that same destructive force, and whether it's Drop Dead Fred or whatever, it's purely nostalgia. It's not based on what actually happened, or you would never go back there.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's easier, I'll say this, it is easier for someone who's been physically abused to avoid that abuse later on. It's not always possible, but it's a little easier, I think, because it's physical.
Well, yeah,
it isn't something you have to think about. It is something that you know is going to happen.
You know that if somebody raises a hand, it's coming at you.
Right.
Where I have to overanalyze everything somebody says to me because I'm looking for the hidden messages underneath of it.
Right. And I don't necessarily have that. Now, we are both Gen X. You're 4 years apart from me, but latchkey kid right here.
Oh, yeah. Same.
And so are you. Mm-hmm. The abuse we had there with just being ignored, that in itself is a form of abuse. Mm-hmm. Now, I enjoyed my alone time.
Oh, I did too. Trust me.
But as a physically abused child, I enjoyed my alone time. I enjoyed not being hit.
Yeah.
I really liked my alone time.
I enjoyed my alone time, but I couldn't because I had chores to do. I had things I had to do, and I had a lot of time. I needed to get them done before my sister came home and my mom came home.
You had a gender role that you were forced into. Mm-hmm. Me presenting as a boy then, I did not have that gender role assigned to me to where that was something. Now, I had chores to do.
Yeah.
They were mowing the yard. I was mowing the yard at 8 years old, and I missed spots. And my dad beat me so badly in the yard while the mower was still running that the neighbor had to come out and call the cops and yell at my dad to stop.
Jesus Christ.
And that was a typical Saturday. Mm-hmm. That wasn't an outrageous act. It was expected that I was going to get beaten for mowing the yard because I was going to miss spots because it wasn't like a plane of grass.
No, and you were 8.
And it explains my need for perfection that I'm constantly having to undo.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to say this because my happy place was in a public area. It was in a library.
Which is funny because you don't like that now.
It's in a library, which is the most public place I could find and still be alone.
And you don't like quiet.
I don't like quiet now, but that's after a war.
That's, different.
So I've got trauma stacked on trauma, and everybody does. Everybody has their own. Everybody has trauma stacked on top of things.
Oh, yeah.
Mine is more readily apparent because it is not entirely emotional trauma. Some of it is, but a lot of it's physical. Yours tends to be a lot more emotional and a lot less physical.
I had an alcoholic, not emotionally and physically available father who reacted much like Lizzie's dad reacted. Decided that because one person said, he bought me my glasses and then called up my grandmother drunk, demanding the money for my glasses. I'm his child. He didn't barely pay any child support. It wasn't like he was doing that. And my grandmother said, well, if you can't pay for her glasses, then you don't need to see her. And instead of speaking to my mother, or being the courts, he took my grandmother's word as the word of God, and I didn't see him again until I was 18. So I was 12, and I didn't see him again until I was 18. And that was because he called me on my 18th birthday and said, your mother can't keep us apart anymore. She never did. My mom is a lot of things, and I have a lot of issues with her right now.
But that wasn't one of them.
That was not, no. She never stopped that man from seeing me.
I think that was your father's got his own issues, but I think that was just his excuse. That was always going to be his excuse. And it was also like his key to getting out of the responsibility.
And his wife also kept his balls in a purse because she was always jealous of his relationship with my mom and with me, and we were his pedestal. Even though he left us as well, he always would get in his cups and be like, I still love your mother. I'm like, it's been years. But I go and marry an addicted, emotional and physical individual, or a person who is emotionally and physically removed from the situation, who would put us on a shelf until he wanted to deal with us. I did the same thing. I was in that, and I found that. So, I mean, that behavior, that abuse and that neglect, no matter what it is, it repeats itself until you're consciously aware of what you're doing. And sometimes it takes a smack in the face to consciously be aware of that. And it took me a long time until I couldn't do it anymore. And when I started to mature, because we've talked about this before, the human brain does not fully mature until you are at least 25 years old. And I could see that my maturity level compared to my ex's maturity level, where I was 4 years younger than him as well, and we got along great. And then I started getting very, very annoyed by his behaviors and by the things that he did because I wasn't so enamored by them anymore. I didn't find
you grew out of it, and he was still there.
He had reached his pinnacle, and I was still growing. So I'm going, this is fucking bullshit, And don't get me wrong, he had a lot of redeeming qualities, but there were a lot more that were not so. And so, yeah, no, it was that I needed to grow, and that was my smack in the face. Was my mental maturity, my emotional maturity. Made me go, what the hell am I doing here? Why am I still doing this to myself? I got away from it as a child. Now I'm doing this as an adult.
It's a repeating nostalgia.
Yeah. And so I see that with Lizzie. She not only found somebody who was emotionally unavailable, but she also found somebody who was a bit authoritarian, much like Mom, who liked things the way he wanted them, and he wanted them his way. And you are not going to affect what I want, because I want her over there too, and you're gonna just have to deal with it and be my little wifey, and I'm just gonna go and fuck her on the side, and have her thinking that she's number one, so it's, yeah, there's that repeated. So he's a kind of like a dichotomy of both Mom and Dad.
I think this movie would have probably carried a little bit more weight, even with all the issues that I have with it. Mm-hmm. If at the end she didn't have this sycophantic guy who really liked her that she immediately went to.
Oh yeah, no. I wish she had just been able to just walk away and be herself.
Right, because you have to learn to be yourself. I know this about you. Mm-hmm. See, we knew each other way back when. Yeah. And you were a teenager. Mm-hmm. And I was a sophisticated grown-up of all of 21. And you were younger than me.
Mm-hmm. I was 19 when I met you.
And I watched you kind of grow up.
I got pregnant.
Right.
That kind of smacks you in the face a little bit too. It does.
But I watched you grow up, not just, like in person.
Oh, yeah.
But when you moved to Jersey and as we discussed things, as I watched, like from afar, you and I discussed things, and life happened to both of us.
Oh, definitely.
You grew up in a very harsh way, that you were forced into situations that were not ideal for anyone. Mm-hmm. And much like her mother reminds me of your mother-in-law, who forced you into a living situation. Yeah. Because you had to survive with your children.
Yeah, my ex-mother-in-law is a human Dalek. She lived on static electricity and spite. That was my best way to describe her.
But that, the nurse is kind of her force of like, you're going to live in this house because that's the only place you have. Yeah. Because you're my baby. And she makes that reference to a grown adult. She's just a child. Come on. She's a fucking adult. Let her be an adult. Treat her like an adult. And I just don't understand where Mom comes in. I don't understand where Mom has the power in the situation, other than she's very stern.
She locked her friend up. So Mom is a narcissist. Mom is a narcissist who even says to her at the end, you were a mistake in basically I had a child to save my marriage, and that didn't even work. So she didn't want her. This woman wanted her orderly life. Okay. She wanted this. I mean, the first thing when she brings Lizzie home is she's got the living room blocked off, and she's like, I just had the carpet shampooed. Don't step in there. That is a controlling thing.
I mean, to put a line up and say, don't go in there, you weren't expecting company. Why would you do that at all?
My mother always wanted a living room like a sitting room, living room that you didn't go into, that was only there for company, that we, as the kids, we would never, she never got that room, but she always wanted it. She always said, she goes, I remember watching that movie with her and her saying, I want a room like that where we just, that's just for company.
I'm going to step in dog shit.
I'm going to step in dog shit. My mother would be having a conversation with you, and like say she had been doing dishes, and then she'd come out of the kitchen and she was drying her hands on a paper towel, and she's talking to you, and then she just in the middle of conversation looks over and like wipes the wainscoting. My mom was a clean freak for many, many years. Now you didn't know my mom then.
No, she's a little bit different from that now.
I think I
think it transferred to different things.
And I also think that when her physicality started to lesson that my mom can't get around like she used to, but my mom on a Saturday would have her hair up in a bandana, disco would be playing, the house would reek of bleach, and it was getting scrubbed from top to bottom. That was our Saturday morning. It did not matter. You knew it was happening.
Right.
And I think that's part of why I am so not a neat freak. Part is my ADD. Part of it is it gives me anxiety sometimes.
I just realized, and to go with the Potter theme that we're talking about, that when you and I got together, that I had to accept the Weasley aesthetic.
Yes.
Because
as we sit in this room that has so many Harry Potter memorabilia.
I mean, it's got a lot of things. I mean, we have adipose though as well.
I do have an adipose. There's some supernatural dolls over there and a dragon's head.
But I'm not talking about the product. I'm talking about
I know what
cluttered.
You mean. I know.
Because we live in a cluttered house.
Yes.
It is.
I have doom piles upon doom piles upon doom piles.
I mean, we have stuff, and we have a lot of things that we like doing. We have a lot of crafts.
I will kill them all. I know. I have too many.
We just do. We have a lot of stuff, and I had to accept that because I was always very regimented. Everything had to be in its place, and everything had to have a thing. And you know how hard it was for me to convert that into living like, you know, in a disordered, I say cluttered, but it's disordered.
It's funny, if you think about when we lived in the apartment and how clean I kept it.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I wasn't working. I was going to school. But I kept that apartment spotless, except for that closet. One closet.
But I was also very, like, agitated because I had to have order. Mm-hmm. It's because I grew up. You had to have... My father was military. Yeah. You had to have everything in alignment. I had to make, my bed like they do in basic training. Yeah. I had to have. He would try to bounce a quarter off my bed. No. I'm like, it's not going to do that.
And it's so funny.
It's a different mattress. It's never going to bounce.
So I'm a restless sleeper, and you're a restless sleeper to a certain degree. Right. So we have separate blankets, which I think it's a European thing. I think it's the most beautiful thing I discovered many, many years ago, but I didn't even know that was a thing. I just said, I need my own blanket. I can't share it with a human being. It's what it is.
Oh, no, we kicked each other too much and stole each other's blankets.
It would just never work. So... that's the way we are. But in the morning, Beth gets up way before me. But even if I got up before her, she still it's not making the bed, but she spreads her blanket nice and neatly on her side of the bed.
It's a compulsion. I can't stop myself.
No, and that's fine. Meanwhile, my side of the bed has a pile of clothing on the floor that I have to climb over.
I mean, I can't make the bed.
Yeah, because I'm in it.
Well, I can't make the bed, so I just try to tidy up. But you're supposed to cover the pillow and cover your side and down to the... And I can rationalize that that's me making the bed then. Okay. Because I was taught you always have to... Every morning you have to make your bed.
So my grandmother always made her bed too, don't get me wrong. But so I get up in the morning. I throw my comforter, which is always like 10 times bigger.
Over my side of the bed.
Over her side of the bed. If I'm looking for clothes, the clothes are on the bed. I have another blanket and a couple pillows. They end up on the bed. And then at night they all get knocked onto the floor. So it's a hot mess. But I had part of it is my ADD. Part of it is because I'm a lazy shit. But also I had found out, like I remember watching something or reading something years ago, making your bed isn't good because it doesn't allow the mattress to dry out from your night sweats because night sweats exist. And even if you wash your sheets, it doesn't let the mattress dry out. So it can cause more problems with your mattress, and also like mites and shit like that. So I always had that in my head that I don't want to make the bed because I don't want there to be mites in my bed. I know it's stupid, but also laziness and ADD. So the triumvirate of my crazy.
But it's just the differences in how we were brought up and how
my mom wanted me to make my bed, but I did not make my bed.
But in how we progressed as well, because again, I was military. Even after I left my father's house, I went into the military. So it perpetuated from there.
As neat as my mom was about the house being spotless, my bedroom never was. My bedroom was a pile of hovering clothing with no floor. And there were times where I would have to clean, and I'm pretty sure if you lifted my bed up, it would have been a perfect rectangle of clothing and toys. I remember at one point, Kristen and I had switched rooms, and I don't remember why we switched rooms, but she got the brighter one and I got the darker one. And I think it's because that one was bigger and she had toys. And I was a teenager and I didn't need the bigger room, I guess. I don't know. But before we moved out of that house, you couldn't find the floor. I had poster board and paperwork for my artwork. The room would be a pile of art supplies and magazines and books and clothing, bedding, because half the time my bed sheets would fly off the bed and I would never bother to put them back on. And I was a slob, but only in my room because I could control that. Nothing else in my... And it's funny because before I even understood psychology, I always believed that everybody had a control.
Right.
My mom's control was she had to rearrange the furniture. I mean, we would come home and never know what we were walking into, how it was going to be rearranged. And it would stay like that either for days or for months. Maybe never lasted more than that. And you've seen how every time we go to my mom's house, it's in a different, all the furniture is different in a different location and stuff. So that's always been her control. My control was my hair. And I think that's why I freak out about my hair when it comes to how it's been thinning because of my medications. And I colored it. I would cut it. But that was my control. And usually, if so I've been in a funk lately because I'm kind of out of work right now, and I've been in a bit of a funk. What did I do the other day? Colored my hair. Painted my nails for the first time in months. That's my control. Sure.
Everybody needs to feel like they have some control, even if because in the world, largely, people do not have control.
No.
You're at the whim of chance and circumstance.
Exactly. And I think as a child, my control when I couldn't do my hair, because I was too young to do stuff like that, and I had to live under, we need to keep the house. I had to come home and clean the house. And I didn't do good in school because I was taking care of a house. So the honor student that I became as an adult, it didn't exist as a child. So I don't even know if I could have been an honor student as a child. I don't know, because I never did the work because I couldn't. When was I going to do it? I was tired. And so, my room was my control. My room was a fucking dumpster fire. But it was mine.
Well, let me tell you, being a gifted child is no fun either.
No.
Because they expect you to make all the grades and do all the things.
Yeah. I just wanted to be average. I really just wanted to be average.
I did too. I wanted to be average, but they expect the world of you. They moved me up in math from regular math to geometry.
Oh my God.
It just jumped because I was good at math.
Okay. I got the opposite. I got put in consumer math, which was dummy math.
But what they don't understand...
They considered it dummy math.
My IQ... You remember they used to give you tests in school for your IQ?
They didn't for us, but yes, I do know that they did that at some point.
It was 165.
Wow.
So it's like, well, if you're 165, then you can do all these things. So they put me in these gifted programs. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing, though. Trauma doesn't care about your intelligence.
No.
And intelligence doesn't guarantee understanding.
Nope.
Being smart enough to know that I know nothing means that I understand better than the people that have expectations of me, that I cannot meet their expectations. Created kind of a vortex of suck. Okay? Obviously, I was not going to live up to their ideals.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was Laszlo in Real Genius. I couldn't live up to their ideals. I was going to burn myself out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that way. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be the people that they wanted me to be, the person they wanted me to be, in many ways. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be the boy I had to keep pretending to be for them. I was already using up so much processing power trying to figure out how to be a boy, first of all, because no one tells you.
No.
You just have to infer it from all the other people around you.
Oh, yeah.
And from movies and everything else. Everything I did is based on Ducky.
Ducky's amazing.
I know, but everything I learned about being a boy was things I learned from 16 Candles and all these movies and stuff. This is why I'm into movies, is because it taught me how to be the person everybody wanted me to be or expected me to be.
You are the best Ducky, though, because honestly, Ducky he's the sweetest. He's a sweetheart. He's a gentleman. He loves her and was so willing to just turn his back.
Sure.
And that's just, and he's just a dork. And that's like, when he was not afraid to be himself.
I don't have a problem with being Ducky. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with being a boy Ducky.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I always say I have a teenage version of Ducky that lives in my head all the time. So,
right. So I'm the girl Ducky. I'm going to blow your mind here for just a moment about this movie. Okay. Instead of our trauma, let's talk about the movie.
Okay, sorry.
Nigel did not leave. He did not leave. He's still there. He went into the fireplace to bring presents down to pretend to be Santa Claus.
Oh, you idiot. You idiot.
And he died. He died in that fireplace.
Because
they haven't found him yet.
Oh, God. And so she's not going to end up with Mickey.
No.
She's going to end up with the boy down the road who's going to end up releasing...
This is the precursor to Gremlins.
No, because she's older. The timeline doesn't work. She would have been in New York at this time in Gremlins 2.
I'm just trying to let her keep her father air-dried and desiccated, but her father...
She would have been in New York for Gremlins 2.
True.
And the timeline... I don't even know when Gremlins 2 came out. That was horrifying.
But they don't really explain his leaving.
No.
So he's still there in the house. Maybe the mother boarded him up in the walls.
Maybe he never existed at all.
It's true, because she has this dissociative thing where she keeps seeing people. Maybe that...
Yeah, I don't know.
Did her mother actually interact with him?
Yes, because that's how we know his name is Nigel.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. I was trying to find a way around that to make that more of a...
I like to think that that's why Fred has a British accent.
Oh, to differentiate between the...
Well, because Dad has a British accent.
Yeah, to differentiate between the trauma is
yeah, and Dad is, obviously between the two, her favorite person.
Right.
So, yeah.
Or at least it's her favorite because he's not there to tear that down.
Exactly. So again, like I was saying before, she wants his attention, good or bad. She just wants it. She's craving it. I think if my dad was more active in my life, I might have actually acted out to get his attention as well. But because I couldn't, what was I going to do? If I acted out, my mom would have punished me, or somebody would, one of the adults in the family would have been pissy with me. And I could not have that. I could not. Again, the trauma.
So we have a lot of trauma, and this movie is about trauma.
It really is, and I understand and I appreciate people. I feel like there's no gray area. You either love it or you don't like it.
I unfortunately, I think I'm in the gray area. I don't dislike the movie. I think it has good bones. I think it has a great foundation.
It could be better.
But I think it was written badly.
I think they should have picked a trauma.
Or maybe just directed badly, I should say. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what it is. It's like there's a component missing from Drop Dead Fred in which he should have had some kind of compassion.
You only see him soft when he's dying.
Yeah, and he's not soft any other time. It's a very self-serving softness.
Yeah. And so, no, I get that. And again, maybe if they stuck with one trauma or one psychosis, dealing with her abandonment issues or with the schizophrenia, but having so many of them to pick from, It's very hard, and so many different avenues of abuse.
Yeah.
Is so hard to find, you know. And again, the most well-rounded person in the whole entire movie, Carrie Fisher. And she literally fought an invisible, well, not even an invisible friend. She fought air.
And she's also a little bit withdrawn.
She is.
And she obviously has her own issues because her favorite thing is getting stooped by a married guy on the 1 weekend a month he can do it.
Yeah, so there's that.
So she's not living her best life.
I said she was the most well-rounded.
Right. She is the one living.
She is.
Everyone else is kind of
in stasis.
And she's the only one living. And really kind of throws her past away because her house, she was mad, now she's not.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about this movie passing the Castellini test?
I think that finding a conversation that has nothing to do... Well, no, I think it will pass.
Okay, well, let's see. There have to be at least 2 named women characters with at least 5 lines of dialogue each.
So there is Elizabeth, there is Polly, there is Janie, and there is Annabeth.
Right. So it passes that. Mm-hmm. It's easy enough. Those characters must have a conversation, not necessarily with the other woman, either not about their partner or with their partner, future or current, and not about their relationship.
Okay. So let me think this one out here.
I'm ready on this one. I'm ready with the quick draw because I know what's coming. Go ahead.
Okay. Elizabeth, no, because every conversation she has with anybody is about Charles.
Not just about Charles.
It's about Fred.
Also Fred, who has a relationship. So yeah, no, I had to think about it. Other than maybe when she talks to Annabeth and she's trying to shoo Fred out from underneath of her skirt and she pretends that she was admiring her dress. So I'm going to throw you a bone here for this one. Mm-hmm. I think that her mother, Polly does not talk about relationships. She talks at her.
Well, yeah, she does talk at her.
But she's not talking about her relationship. She does talk about Charles once.
Yeah.
But the other times it's about her
and Fred.
Her daughter.
Well, yeah.
And about Fred, but not as a relationship.
And she does talk to her when she's little, and she talks to her as an adult.
And then we have the nurse who talks to her, and it's not about a relationship. And we have Carrie Fisher who talks to her initially, not about her relationship.
True.
So I'm going to throw you a lifeline on that one.
Okay.
Yes, that it passes that because a lot of this is about relationships.
Oh, yeah, because
almost all of it in Elizabeth's concern is her relationships revolving around 2 men, one's imaginary.
Yeah.
At least one of the women has to be integral to the plot, meaning that if she were written out of the film, it could not reach the same ending. Easy.
Well, yeah, that's easy, because if Elizabeth wasn't there, there'd be no point.
Right. But also, if Polly wasn't there,
Elizabeth wouldn't have the trauma, and then there would be no Fred.
Trauma to be informed. Yes. So it does pass the Castellini. Not only that, but because when you look at the film as a whole, women are not seen as less than.
I mean, though Fred does make reference. That's the only thing I think that bothers me is Fred. You have girl. If you have emotions, then you think about love, you must be a girl. And I'm in a car with girls.
That is Elizabeth's.
That's a childish
trauma, not actually. I mean,
no one's actually saying that out loud.
Right.
Yeah.
But while the men can be womanizing, many of the things are not. And they are respected as individual human beings.
Yes, you can also look at the fact that, like, as Charles is sleeping with Annabeth and he's cheating on Annabeth, but Janie is the other woman as well, and it's showing you that she has no fucks to give as well. You know, she knows she's the other woman, and she keeps on going. So, and even Annabeth, she's the other woman, and until she calls it off, he was still going to keep going. She called it off because he was going to keep it going.
And of course, we have prime Bridget Fonda. Just out of nowhere, Bridget Fonda.
Bridget Fonda. We have to watch The Shag. Even if we don't even do it for the podcast, we have to watch that movie.
Lake Placid. I just want Lake Placid.
I know, but that movie's so good.
So, that was the movie. Mm-hmm. That was Drop Dead Fred. We have mixed emotions about it.
We do. But I've been looking forward to doing this
And I think that was always going to happen. I think we have radically different views of this film because we are both informed by our trauma.
Oh, yeah.
And we have different types of trauma.
And, and I'm coming from both nostalgia and academia, and I'm trying to not look at it clinically, but also I'm looking at the movie clinically. And again, looking at my experiences with small children and their behaviors and their challenges. And literally, like I said before, the first thing they teach you in school when you work with special education is the function of the behavior. Literally, we have functional behavioral analysis that we have to do. So, I mean, it's about what is causing this behavior. The behavior there's a reason behind it. Whether the child knows it or not, you need to figure out what the cause is, what the function of the behavior is. So that's unfortunately where I kept looking at it that way. And I've worked with kids who are just destructive for no fucking reason.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing this emotional journey through Drop Dead Fred, in which we find Elizabeth trying to find herself through a disjointed, sometimes chaotic movie of trauma progressively getting worse until it just magically ends up just fine with no problems. But it's passing down Drop Dead Fred to the next generation.
Yes.
Is that good?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Well, if you would like to watch this movie on your own, you can catch it on YouTube, Google Play, Prime, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and Fandango.
This has been Once More with Feelings with Beth and Michelle. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at OMWFPod. Visit our page at oncemorewithfeelings.podbean.com or send us an email at omwfpod@gmail.com. Take a moment to subscribe and rate us on iTunes and YouTube or wherever you listen to our podcasts.
So, next episode, here are your 2 clues. I'm excited about this one as well. So, my first clue is that a documentary was commissioned by the director of this movie about drag queens, and he used it to train his leads. And my other clue is one of the cast members was on Nixon's enemies list.
So it's me. All right.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, I love the sound of things breaking.
I still think this should be a Gremlins movie. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Maybe Mommy's right. I never do anything right.
So what? What are you saying that for? You're great. She's not.